To see examples of what we talked about on this episode, along with further information, go to bunchofdorks.com.
Welcome everyone to
Two Dimension Podcast,
the comic book podcast
with no direction. Two Dimension. Two Dimension. What's up, everybody? You know that song, you know this voice. It's me, Rook. Joining me as always is the man who keeps it together, Mr. Don Moore.
But it's not about me. Keep going.
That's right. He has returned with his book, Returned. We welcome back Jason Strutz.
Hello, everybody. How you doing?
Man, I'm doing great. I pulled out my first two issues.
Excellent. Thank you. I love to see you.
And with the only 30 minutes I had today, read my way through both of them. That third issue is coming up, ready to start Kickstarter. How are you feeling getting the third one out?
Feeling good. Tired. Working on stuff in between putting out issues, but I've pretty much been working on this one since kind of the beginning of this year, and have been putting it out as a webcomic on the returncomic.com site. So you can read all of part 3 up there. The Kickstarter is going to launch July 1st. Fingers crossed. I don't have confirmation, but July 1st Kickstarter. So there'll be a link in the description because everything will be settled by then. So link in the description of the podcast. But it's feeling really good. I can see the end of the end of the book. I can see the light at the end of the tunnel here. So this is another big book. This one is 43 pages. So another big book coming up, and then part 4 is going to be a teeny bit smaller, around 30.
Yeah.
But it'll be a big finish. So
I can't wait. I mean, just what's out there already online for everybody to read. Just a massive amount of stuff going on in the book. A lot of information given with what would be the third issue of it in the printed piece. Finally getting to figure out who people are, why things are happening. But there's other things I feel like you're not letting go of yet in the story. I feel there's dark things behind more.
Yep. So just to be sure, you've read the first 2 issues. Did you get a chance to read the preview here? Okay.
Oh, I certainly
did.
I did.
Excellent. So yes, so we can discuss that stuff. It's also online too, so we'll spoil some stuff, but keep some stuff around whatever we feel like. Whatever entices you to read a story, we'll tell you.
I have some things to say on that.
Yeah, you're usually mad at me, Don.
Well,
the last 2 podcasts, you've been mad at me. Are you mad at me again?
Full transparency, I was. Jason is 100% correct. This time, I was standing up off the couch cheering. I was reading this thing. Now, I liked the other 2. They were incredible. But this one, it's gone far beyond it. One thing, just to start this thing off, the artwork is done in a kind of an earthy style, which I like. But on the opposite end of the spectrum, his panel layouts, how he's put this thing together is razor sharp. It's a razor sharp graphic. I love how some of the pages are full drawings with panels inset to it. And the panel layouts is still a storytelling device. I mean, they are pretty, but they're not meant to be pretty. They propel the story. It's not like I stop looking at it.
I want to tell the story, but part of me can't help making it as pretty as I can.
Now,
and we thank you for that.
Yeah, it is, but that's an art, because there are a lot of people that can't do that. You do it seamlessly. Going past all that, though, the story, the main character is a female fighter, leaves her husband and son behind. But the husband, usually when something like that's done, they kind of play with the husband, that they're a house husband and kind of, female type character. This guy is not whatsoever. All the characters are strong in it. This third part, they're showing how all the characters are
Yeah.
part of
Yeah,
the
definitely.
they're all heroic in different ways.
They all have parts to play. And that is so back up for anybody who hasn't read anything. Basically, the main character Vale, she's fighting an army of the dead in the beginning of the book. Unfortunately, dead herself by about page 13, and spends some time as a bad zombie lady till her family finds her, ties her to a chair, and helps her ghost re-inhabit her zombie body. So that's about book one. Book two, they try to escape. She's like, can I keep my family safe? Can I make this work? And we read part two, as Don was very mad about. It turns out it's probably not possible, but there are things that she can do. There are ways that she can try to help people, help the world, help her family, but perhaps it's not walking around with them all the time, because she has some problems controlling her zombie self sometimes when she gets emotional or her family gets in trouble. So now in this third book, they have separated, but each of them are following their own story. So Vale is on her own quest to try to go back to where this started for her, her hometown, where she found her family again, because there's a big floaty castle hanging above that town, and that seems like a great place to start to figure out what else she could do in this world. So she's headed back there. Hel and Ragno, her partner and son, are kind of hanging out where we left them, and they also come upon a bit of a mystery there, where we get into the weird stuff this issue.
Yeah.
Where, yeah, there's zombies. There's also some monsters and some gods and some wacky stuff. So they also have their part to play in this story. They're not just disappearing as a plot device or a good surprise that I couldn't figure out what else to do with. I wanted to make sure that everybody was kind of following their own path, had something to do. And as we come to the close, things will start coming back around.
Yeah.
But it's all connected. All the characters are still connected,
Yeah.
even though they're apart. And I'm sitting there when I'm reading this, trying to figure out, if I was wanting to do this, how in the world am I going to convey this? How did you come up with this? Because I don't get confused. This is a really intricate, complicated story in a way. And when it doesn't read that way, I never get lost in it. How did you do this, Jason?
I'm super glad to hear that, because it is definitely something that's packed with ideas and packed with things that I try to keep mysterious in some ways. Like, not everything's going to be a great long explanation about everything,
Right.
because that's not really something the characters would come across, would know anything about. We're learning more about what is happening. There's a reason that nobody can die anymore, and there is that big floaty castle with a big green undead guy we saw in the beginning of book one. So he's been around and comes back in this as the entity behind the whole thing. But yeah, there's lots of thoughts behind it and subtext, but I think it was definitely helped by adding about 20 to 30 pages to the story. Originally, I was aiming for about 120 pages for this book, and I wrote the script that way. And as I started drawing it, as an experience I've had many times with writers, putting too much on the page.
Yeah.
So I think what helped that was giving it more room to breathe a bit in terms of page count and panel count. But But in terms of coming up with the story, like this story started as a 24-hour comic idea. So I've done a version of this book as a 24-page book done in 24 hours. Uh, Bonkers challenge that happens in October every year, first weekend of October. So I did the story in its kind of most bare bones state in those 24 pages, and that'll pop up again at the in the big final collection campaign for the collected graphic novel sometime next year. But in that version of the story, it was definitely a case where her family, Helen Ragno, they did their part. They brought her back to life-ish, and then they were out. They didn't really have anything to do after that. So this book kind of really represents an expansion of that original 24-hour comic idea, where it's like, this is something I'd like to do, but I only have 24 pages and 24 hours to do it. So I feel bad that I like have these characters in here, and after they have to split, there's really nothing else for them to do. So a lot of this book is, well, how do I give them something to do, a reason to exist in the story other than a plot device, and how do I help that inform the end of the story as well? So a lot of this was setting up probably what is going to be a more definitely more bombastic, I don't know, more satisfying ending, but we'll see. We'll see next time. But it's setting up a larger ending for this book.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So it's definitely represent that expansion and just trying to come up with themes, because one of my goals with the book was to do a zombie book. I like zombies, I like monsters, action stuff, medieval stuff. But I wanted to have a reason I was doing this, an idea behind it, and we're getting closer in this book, where it's sort of revealed that body, that big bad guy with a stump on his head, is a stolen body, stolen by one of two gods in this world, the one that makes meat, that makes bodies. And they're a little pissed off because this body that he stole belonged to this king, and it was a situation where that king is, rallying, trying to take over
Not the
land.
best dude to be.
No, not a good dude, trying to take everybody over, and this god who created all these animals, created the humans in this story, is kind of mad that we're just following a dude and tossing our lives away rather than making something of what we've been given. And apparently they've seen it enough that it's time to try to flush it all down the toilet. I've likened it to the whole of Earth, or the whole of whatever planet this is on, is kind of a group project between two people, and one of them went kind of jerky.
Yeah, one of them decided he didn't want to play the game anymore.
Yeah. And it was a goal to do a zombie book that really had a reason things were happening, and had had that kind of deeper context that a lot of horror stories have. But I wanted to really think about the motivations of what's going on here.
Yeah.
What he's discussed is the parts that were making me jump off the couch last night. Now, I'm really trying hard not to give things away. So when you read this, and if it's online, I stress, go see it. If you're listening to this.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's something. I mean, as I said, even though I was really teed off at Jason several times, I really enjoyed the first two books. But this third one, it's like when you watch Star Wars for the first time in the theater, the first movie, and Luke Skywalker is in that canal on the Death Star, and everybody in the theater is cheering, throwing their hands up, do it, and he does it, and it blows up the Death Star, and everybody jumps up screaming. That was me. The the god he's talking about with the wooden the stump for a head, that starts hitting other regions to me. And goats.
Go the
There's
goat comment.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
Yes.
there's a poetry to this that I love, and it's like I love reading the Old Testament, until
Mm.
Jerusalem was split in two. But I love reading the Old Testament. I love reading old Greek mythology, Norse mythology. I love
Yeah,
that kind of stuff,
absolutely.
and that's what this feels like when. And they were talking about. I mean, it's philosophical between the main I don't remember the names. I apologize, but the
That's great.
main protagonist husband,
Mhm.
and I'm not going to give any details,
Yeah,
but
let's not give the details
yeah,
of who
but
made
the
the goat
person they're
comment. That
talking
was
to,
so brilliant. May I also just say,
Oh,
like,
thank you.
I'm reading through this and I can't help but think of Mimir as I'm reading it as well.
Yep, yep, yep.
Yeah.
now
That was
saying that,
definitely something to think about
Yeah.
when I
but
wrote this book, and then that game then that game came out. I hadn't played it for a long time, and I was like, I'm
but
not the
I'm
first
when
person
I'm
to do this.
yeah when I'm reading this, I'm not thinking of other other mythologies or religions or anything like that, and any other thing. It's just it's unique.
Yeah, it's
But
definitely
what they're
something that is not it's vaguely based on lots of things, but um it's not anything real. It's not something that anybody has followed thus far. I wanted to make something some sort of cosmology that made sense and some sort of religion that made sense, and some of my goals were to have this supernatural part be real, and also have as many of the human characters in this as possible get it completely wrong about how
that's
their
what we
world
do.
worked. They had an idea of how this works, but they're all wrong.
I
So
think that's
I want to do that. And I'm really happy that you enjoyed the goat comment. Because when I'm writing it, I'm thinking of that as a kind of a cover my ass statement of like, well, there's lots of animals around. Why aren't there undead animals in this world? So I'm
yeah.
like, I don't want to deal with it. There's too much. Let's just not do that. Uh,
That's what made
so
it.
yeah,
I mean, that kind of stuff there, because you're reading it thinking, well, I never thought of it that way, but yeah, it makes sense. Again, I keep going back. I use this word all the time. It was poetic. It was like there's something there that you never thought about that you should have known. That's kind of obvious. Um, how we've talked about this before, but I want to cover this again because every time I read these stories, I keep thinking, how do you approach these things? I know it's a 24-hour comic, but are you writing the script first
so
before
the
you start
yeah, so
drawing?
this yeah, the script is entirely written. So everything is written, and everything is this is all through the end of the book, through the end of part four. Um, Everything is written, everything is sketched out, and pretty much everything is kind of lettered as well. Because for a while before starting to post final pages, I was posting script pages and layout stuff on my Patreon for people to look at, and doing commentary for every page on there. Uh, and uh, Part of my of making this book was kind of learning how to write a whole script. I've done that 24-hour comic day. I've done other things where I do some writing, but not write a big script and then make the book. So this project started, 2018, 2019 as I'm going to learn how to write a book. And man, it would be easy to take this 24-hour comic and just write some more about it. Uh, was really the motivation there, because I at the time my daughter was in half day school, and was going to be going to full-time school the next year. And I was like, I have some time. I should have something to work on because she's going to be at school all day now. And that was a revelation to me as a stay-at-home dad. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
she'll be gone for like 6-7 hours a day. It's crazy. What am I going to do? So I wanted to kind of have something for me to work on as soon as that happened. So I was taking my mornings when she was at school and going to the library and just sitting and either reading books about writing or script writing, comic writing, and doing the work of trying to figure out how to do this. And then the year that she was supposed to be going to full-time school was school year 2019-2020.
Yeah.
And so things got pushed back. And that did give me a lot of time to kind of look back at what I had written and revise and keep working on it because there's no way I was going to start working on it in March of 2020 as my plan was. So definitely gave it a lot of gestation time that I kind of didn't really plan on, but it was kind of nice to have this thing on the back burner where I could mull it over and keep plugging away at doing layouts and lettering and all that. So it has been it's been a long time in the making, going on 7 years now, which is kind of ridiculous because publicly I've only been talking about it for the past 2 years.
But that
But-
time, that 7 years shows in this book.
Yeah,
In
yeah.
the writing, in the art, in the way that it's evolving through the story. That time you spent is showing in every single one of these pages, not just the book, every page. I have to tell you, the time you take, the detail you pour in, absolutely stunning. And it's one of the reasons I prefer the printed one when it's available, because
Yeah.
I can just sit there and stare at things and look at details.
Oh, yeah. Mhm. That is the way it is best read. That's the way it's meant to be read. It's
Yeah.
in a book form. I want to put it out as a webcomic so that people can see it and I can just send someone to the comic rather than trying to charge you a little bit to look at it online. I want eyeballs more than I want to try to squeeze $1 out of you. So you can read it online as a webcomic. Not the best reading experience for a 155-page graphic novel, but it's there. You can. There's the print versions. There's the digital versions that come out through these Kickstarters, which I've been super happy with that. Done 2 so far. Working on the third one. Putting that together now. I'm super happy to be roughly done with the book before I launch this Kickstarter, so that's good. I think last time I was sweating a little bit finishing part 2, getting the Kickstarter ready and all that.
Yeah.
So happy to be ahead on it. But yeah, the print version is kind of what I'm always aiming for.
Yeah.
With
You
these
mentioned
books.
you mentioned the lettering. Are you hand lettering this? How are you doing the lettering?
So I'm not hand lettering, but I did make fonts. All the fonts in the books, or sorry, one of the fonts I didn't make. The big bad guy has a kind of rougher font
Yeah.
that I've been using, but all of the dialogue fonts and that are a typeface that I made from my own lettering.
Okay.
And there's a cool site called Calligrapher, where you drop the E at the end of calligrapher because it's on the internet, so it can't end it in ER, just has to end in an R. But Calligrapher, you can tell them all the symbols you want, and you just fill out all these boxes with all these letters, and they put together the font for you. I went crazy with it because There's also in fonts, there's a lot of things called contextual alternates. So when you're typing, it will replace things that that you specified. So if you have two E's in a row, like I want those two E's to look different. I don't want it to be the same E repeated. So when I type two E's, it replaces it with two different E's. And I did that for all of the vowels. I did that, there's a 2E version, there's a 3E version, there's a 4E version. And I did it for like a bunch of combinations, like ATA has a special one, and anything that with repeated letters in close proximity, I made alternates for. So yeah, so like a 24 character alphabet has like 300 some
Yes.
characters in it because I wanted to be crazy.
Yeah.
No,
But I'm happy I did because I really like it, and I enjoy how it looks. I have most of the book is in upper lowercase, which I always have arguments with letterers about, and sometimes I have the upper lowercase. I have the all uppercase font as well, to kind of switch to that for big moments or yelling and things like that.
Yeah. So
In my
that
head, it
look-
makes it more expressive.
Yeah, I
even
know
if it is
exactly
not
what you mean.
the most
it
I-
didn't
comic.
make me-
I adored fonts. I still have 3,000 fonts saved on a drive somewhere. So hearing you talk about this and how much detail you put into even the text, even the font itself, that's just absolutely. Now I'm gonna have to go back and reread the book, all three books, just to look at font now. Thanks, Jason.
Just go
Thanks a lot.
look at all the double letters. Just go look at all that stuff, and
You used to end in the show with Don Madigan. Now you got me.
Oh, we're good friends today. No, the reason I asked about the fonts though is
Yeah.
the big bad guy. That
Mhm.
tag, it was unique.
It
it's
is,
it's
yeah.
kind of scrambled. Nothing's lined up. It reads quite well, but the thing is, even though it's different, it goes with the other font you used.
Yeah, I
And
think it does go
this-
pretty well. Yeah.
when I say this, and these are professional letterers, and I'm not putting anybody down, but I've read mainstream comics, and the letterer sometimes we use a different font for each character, sometimes a script font, this and that, and it's the term I always use, clown vomit, even though it's all done in
It can be
black
it can be a
text.
lot. Yeah.
It doesn't go. It's not cohesive, and if it's an actual letterer like the comics were done in the past, even if they do different fonts, you can still there's the same
It's
source.
still the same person's hand making those
Right.
those shapes, so it's going to come across. Yeah.
But that's how I came across in this one. I'm actually kind of surprised that font that the big bad guy uses you didn't create.
Yeah, I did. That was I think it's a Blambot.
Oh,
Blambot
yeah.
free font.
Yeah.
Great
It goes-
source for fonts there.
Yeah, I'll have that on the blog. That was it just works seamlessly, even though it's different. It works with what you had.
Yeah, I went back and forth on that a little bit as to whether I would use the same font for that or for that character or not. It's the only character that gets a different font, but I thought that trying to separate that voice from the voice of any other human character in the story was important. Somewhat of a clue, I guess, in the beginning of the book and kind of for 3/4 of this book, everybody's just imagining it's this bad human guy we know. We don't know why the castle's flying, but like, oh, it's this bad human guy. It's obvious. It's not a big mystery. And then it's a bit of a mystery.
This is the
so I
fourth or
wanted
fifth
to.
time. This is the fourth or fifth time you mentioned a floating castle, and I was aware of it in the story, but that was my least interested thing in the story. It was all the other things going on around it is what had me jump up off the couch.
Hopefully,
last
I can hand wave that one a little bit. I just wanted to have a big floating castle. I don't have a great reason for it.
It's great.
That's funny because for me, the things going on, like I love floating castles. I don't know, it's a story device,
I
but
do too.
Mhm.
the things going on inside the floating castle were like
Oh yeah, and around it, yeah.
demented.
Yeah, it goes hard. It goes hard this one.
Yeah, yeah, it does. I mean, this one, I don't know why. The first issue with the village raid, like the horror behind that, uh,
Mhm.
ending up in the castle, seeing that happening, that was just horrific for me reading that. I'm just like, oh,
Yeah.
this is just like super demented. This is not just some dude trying to take over the world.
Yeah. And I think that I mean that is my one of my reasons for having that floating castle, other than wanting to have a floating castle, other than it looks cool. Like I wanted in the beginning of this book to say like, okay, you're gonna start reading this book and there's zombies and it's people stabbing zombies. We've seen this before, but I'm gonna put in a few things in the beginning of this story in part one that you're gonna say, okay, cool, zombie story, whatever, but there's a floating castle. I wanted to put that in the beginning and have this big bad in the beginning where you know that it's zombies, but there's more going on here. There's more weird stuff than dead things are wandering around,
Oh, it's
or
so
dead
much more
people
weird.
specifically. Uh, so I wanted to make sure I had that fantasy element in there that that hopefully makes you wonder a little bit as you keep going.
Oh yes.
Um, and get more story about it, get more clues about it.
Yeah.
And I think of each one of these books, each one of these parts, um, has sort of a different theme to it as well. That kind of happened by accident. I, I I was initially just writing a long book and was going to make all of the book and then do one Kickstarter of one big book. Um, so I hadn't really planned on separating it out into book one, two, three, four, but decided to go that way to drum up more interest in the Kickstarter and keep that Kickstarter audience going. So that when I get to a big book, there's a lot of people behind me. But it turned out that like each of these chunks, each of these books, being about 40 pages each for the first three, have their own theme. So that first book one is a very it's a zombie movie. It's a zombie movie. It's zombie action. It's medieval stuff. We're gonna go on a fun adventure, uh, and that's the lone adventurer part of the book. She's wandering by herself. She's trying to do stuff. She's trying to figure out her situation in life and death. And now um, it's adventure time. And then at the end of book one, you get the turn where she gets back in control of her body. She gets in contact with her family again. And that book two, going into book two, that's the family that's the family time. That's the family book
Yeah.
where
That's
they
where
are
you see
together.
her kind of power up in a way, like get back
Yeah,
tied to herself and get her power
right.
back.
Sort of rediscover that humanity, rediscover those roots, um, rediscover something to fight for because she knows that her family is still alive. So she wants to do whatever she can to help them survive whatever is going on. And in that book, it is, well, maybe we could just go and run away and hide, and like all of this will blow over, and I'll just be a dead lady, and we'll be happy family in the woods somewhere.
No.
So the idea that she could just save her family. She's of the opinion at that point that there's nothing much you can do if she can just save, her partner and son, that would be great. And um, and she does to some extent. Like she does get them to safety. But uh, she comes to realize that she's a bit of the threat in the situation sometimes, and that's not what she intends in saving her family. So book two is definitely the wandering zombie movie, family wandering the zombie apocalypse uh, theme of like, okay, we're gonna go here, we're gonna go there, we're gonna go on this trip, we're gonna visit these places, and bad things will happen, and we have to go to the next place. It's like, taking all the issues of Walking Dead and squishing them into 40 pages.
Yeah.
Just keep walking around and having bad things happen.
Did you have this planned when it was going to be a big book? Did you have all these different segments?
I did, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. And yeah, it somehow, I don't know how, it's not very satisfying. I don't know how it worked out. I wrote a book and it separated into chunks decently. Um, and gave me, it definitely massaged those cliffhangers for maximum anger for Don here.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
No, I'm all warm
But
and fuzzy this time, so you're good.
I know, and it was never you're mad at me, you just don't want it to be
The
over
love was still there, man.
at that point. At the point the first two books have ended. So,
Yeah.
and then this third book, we're gonna, we've gone through, the lone adventurer, we've gone through the family. Now we're on to the, like, okay, what can I do now? Like, I can't save my family on my own. Can I take, bigger responsibility? Can I take on saving the world in some respect? Like, I'm, she's a special person at this point, and she's like, well, I don't know what I can do with this, but I'm gonna walk back to where that big castle is and try to figure this out. Because she's at this point the only one that can really do that. So she's off on uh, you know, her sort of kind of regular quest, and Helen Ragno, her partner and son, uh, end up on this sort of metaphysical quest. I
Yeah.
brought these gods in, and I need Vale. She's off fighting things and stabbing things, and I needed Helen Ragno, our other characters, to be able to explore and be able to explain some of the background to this. So this one has a little bit more talking than the previous books, uh, but they're talking about important stuff.
Yeah.
And I use those characters to round out the world
And
and
the way
explain a
he
little
did it
bit more.
in the story was not your big bad guy monologuing, which, we see so many people like, oh, here's the big bad guy. He's just going to monologue his whole reasoning now. You used something completely different to be able to get that breakdown, to get that information to a reader. And I really enjoyed that part because honestly, I hate sitting through big bad guy monologues. So
Oh yeah,
thank you
yeah.
for not doing one.
It was, yeah, but again, one thing I got to, for people listening to this, if you haven't looked at the site or seen any of this work, what is being described is a horrifying thing, which it does have its moments, but it's still bright. It still has bright moments. You're still hoping for something. And again, I keep going, it's philosophical. It brings up a lot of food for thought. It shows a lot of things in life. Like, you have an intention, I'm never going to do this in my life, and then you find out that you did anyway, or you did things to get by that you're thinking, I'm not really proud of that. I wish I hadn't done that. But there's a lot of this kind of stuff in it. But the story flows. It's an exciting story. It can be terrifying, but it's happiness. And in this third one, when he's talking about the metaphysical journey, it's metaphysical, but it's also physical. It's also grounded and real. And the characters really, they were always strong characters. I can't stress this enough. It wasn't like, oh, what has he got this? He doesn't know what he's doing. They were always strong, but they just really come into their own. They really grow and shine. And you're not better than me, Jason. You're not better than me, but this is actually really something.
Never said I was. Never said I was, Don.
I'm just making sure,
but thank
making sure you know.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, no, that is great to hear. Mostly I'm sitting in my basement here, just sweating and trying to get things out. Comic stuff and writing stuff and design things. So it is great to have this coming out where people can say nice things about it. That is a great feeling. So thank you very much. Yeah.
Jason, let me jump back to something that you said earlier. When you were talking about getting ready to start this, you sat down and started reading a bunch of books about script writing and things like that. You had already seen many comic book scripts at that point.
Certainly, yes, yeah, and I had I've worked on comics with writers and was had an idea how to do it. I of course fell into the same traps that lots of writers do, but it's my first time.
Yeah.
Of the like, oh, I'm putting too much on a page, I'm moving too quickly, and all that stuff. But yeah, I had worked on comics with people in collaborations before, and so I definitely had experience reading scripts, interpreting scripts, and um, yeah, figuring out like that structure that I liked when I got scripts from people. So I kind of knew what I wanted to have.
Right. So,
Yeah, and I wanted to go with that script form at first so that I knew that I had the story down before I moved on to the art, because the art is what I have done and kind of know how to do in the way that I do it. That's the part of the process that I knew. So I wanted to write it out just in script form so I could show it to someone and say, hey, is this real? Is this a real story? So I started with that script form, and had some idea of where I was going and what that should look like.
so my interesting thought is the fact that you've sat and read many scripts, but still took the time to go and learn more. And that's one thing that I ran into a writer recently who has had zero writer in quotations, zero experience, and has decided that she dislikes the ending of a particular story that she enjoyed, so she's going to rewrite it.
Okay, all right.
And I asked her what her script writing was like. Have you written a couple of scripts? Oh no, I'm winging it. Oh well, here, let me suggest a couple of script writing books. Oh no, I don't need it. I've read a script before.
I love people like
Yeah.
that. Stay
Yeah.
strong.
Yeah, stay strong.
When I'm looking at a script to draw, I'm looking for different things than like the total story arc all the time. I'm if I'm handed a script that to me is locked, written by somebody else, that's a locked script. There's nothing I can do about this.
You don't play with that.
Good or bad, I have to make it look good. I have to make it flow well. Other than that, like I want to think about the story and I want to think about the elements that I need and what's important in the story, but it's a different part of the brain, for me at least, where like if I'm handed the script, that part's done. Whatever is on this page is on this page. I'm not going to think super hard about that.
Yeah.
But I have gotten scripts and read scripts that have things that didn't make sense to me, and I would talk to the author about it and figure out what we could do to kind of make that make sense to me.
Right.
And sometimes that was good, and sometimes that was like, no, shut up, it's a story, draw pictures. I'm like, okay, that's fine. And when I wanted to get this story into a script form, like I knew the basics, but I knew that I did not know enough.
Right.
And when you say your friend writing this, rewriting the ending of this thing, winging it, and to some extent, I was winging it. I just took a lot longer to wing it, perhaps. But it felt like a series of winging it sort of stuff, because I did not do what I normally advise people to do when they want to start making comics. Where I tell people, say, yeah, write a 4-page story, write a 6-page story, write a 20-page story, like work up to this.
Yeah.
And I didn't do that. So the idea that yeah, it did feel like I was winging it to some extent, but it was a long process of winging it, and a process that to me, I knew that I didn't know enough yet.
Well, you were
I
a
especially
seasoned,
follow my dialogue and that were things that I needed to think about, and story structure was something I needed to think more about, um,
well,
and
you
that.
were
So there,
seasoned to it because you'd worked with other writers. You'd seen
Mhm.
scripts. You've seen how to put it together. Excuse me. You've seen how to put it together. And even if you haven't written it, you kind of solve the problems,
Mhm.
when you're doing the visuals.
Yeah,
So I think, I keep going back to the fonts when you're talking about the fonts and all the added characters you did. You're a very detail oriented person, but you're not meticulous. You
yeah.
think about everything, you put
Mhm.
everything in there, but the reader doesn't have to have a doctorate in philosophy to understand it. You can just it reads quite well, but there's so much to it, and even if you're not, it's like a lot of things. Even if you don't pick it up right away, it's kind of there. It's kind of on the cusp for anybody. There's so much to this. And again, I keep going back to the fonts. That's just that's
Yeah,
incredible.
I think it's emblematic of how I make things. I'm gonna do a lot of work and try to make sure it's right before I move forward. And that was writing the script. That was learning this, um, learning what this story was and figuring out this story. Uh, that I will do a lot of work behind the scenes before I start putting something out uh, into the world. So I think that font thing is a good thing to pick up on. That's definitely a way that I work. I like that description of um, dedicated but not meticulous. Not a lot of the art is messy, but it's messy in the parts it needs to be and readable in the parts it needs to be, hopefully.
Yes.
Um, and Yeah, that's very, very descriptive of the way that I work and the way that I
Well,
plan things out.
one
Um,
thing for people listening in typography, people don't know. It's like a movie soundtrack. Sometimes you don't know the soundtrack's there, even though it's manipulating your feelings when you're watching the movie. But I've seen people, and I was one of these people, when desktop was new, I typed up all this stuff. And this one woman that worked for me, she was reading it, and I said, "What do you think?" "Oh, it's just terrible." And she was marking the thing up, but it wasn't what was written, it was the punctuation and characters I used.
mm,
And I didn't know when you type in quotation marks, there's a special key to get quotation marks and not inch marks.
Yeah.
yep,
And
yep.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's
there's
obvious
beginning and
now.
ending quotation
Yeah,
marks.
but
There's
I
lots of
didn't
stuff.
come from typesetting. I came from a graphic side, and there were so many little hidden things that are there that now are obvious to me. But a lot of people, when you're reading something, if it's not right, you notice it. It looks cheap, it looks wrong, but you don't know what it is. And that's why when he was going through the fonts, creating his own, he was adding all these little things that most of us never notice or look at. We're surface people, whereas you're not. That's why you're in the basement, because you're not a surface person.
I'm an underground dweller. Yes, a chud. I'm a chud in the basement here making comics. Uh,
Good
and
place to be.
yeah, I think that fits. And like I do a lot of graphic design jobs and poster design and things like that. So I have some familiarity with it. I'm generally not make a big book person, but I'm working on big design books at the moment too. So
Oh,
um,
nice.
Fun.
lots of stuff, but have that background in design and uh, like working in that and logos and things like this. So I'd like to have that in this case with the fonts. Like that is something that I look for in comics when there's a bunch of letters next to each other. Is it all the same letter? Is it oh, how hard they work on this and that? And you can buy fonts from Blambot that have all these contextual alternates. I don't think they went up to 5 A's in a row like I did, but they have enough. I just went overboard. So like if I'm gonna make a font, I might as well make it all right now and be done with it.
That's so funny. I love that. I have a friend of mine that years ago did a comic and used his handwriting to make a font.
Yeah.
His handwriting is very intricate and detailed.
Oh,
Okay. Yeah.
He made a beautiful illegible comic.
Mhm.
And he still says to this day, whatever you do, have someone else read your crap before you start making it.
Oh yes, yes, yes. That has always been a part of this book as well, is having other people read it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where I
Get mad,
made
too.
wrote that script and hired an editor to read through it. And I wanted to pay them money so that they would be honest and say, this is crap, or this is fine.
That's
So
kind of a funny thing,
hired,
isn't it? When you're writing, like if you show it to friends and they all come back with positive responses, you're like,
yeah,
I'm
because they're
gonna
your
go find
friends. They
somebody
should
who
be.
might hate me and
That's
have them
nice.
read it.
And I have friends that I can show things to, and I will tell them beforehand, like I want the real stuff. Give me the real stuff. Uh, I'm generally pretty good about not having a big ego about it. Uh, always something to work on. But when I show something to someone for feedback, like I want the real stuff. I want to
Yeah.
know what you see that I don't see because I'm too close to it. So I had editor read through that script, and we worked on it and made sure we got that story down first, and then have put together the whole book in sketch form, so all the layouts and all the lettering, but with a bunch of varying qualities of stick figures and all that, doing all the layout and having someone just read through this layout book of like, hey, is this still make sense? Is this still
Yeah.
good?
Make sure it reads. Yeah.
And some of this is just like, this is my first big book. I want to make sure that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing before I get too far. I don't want to work for 7 years on this and not and realize at the end that like, oh, I didn't do that part of the story. Whoops, and
Yeah.
got to fix it.
Yeah.
So some of it's just paranoia about having a first big book, but always want to have people read through my stuff. People out there making things, always have someone read through it and tell them like, I want to know what you see here. If you see problems, like, I'm glad you like it.
But
Why'd you like it, or what happened, or parts you didn't understand, or anything like that.
yeah.
Because that's if your friends notice that, certainly other people are going to notice that when
Yeah.
they read it too. And
Well, that was part of a
most of the time
regular
you are too
routine to
close.
get
You're
art
too
critiques.
close.
Art
Yeah.
critiques, like in college. Well, heck, I started getting art critiques all the way back in freaking middle school, for crying out loud.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
know, one of my favorite professors in college. Literally, I'd met the man one time prior. He walks past my desk, looks at the design I'm doing, and goes, "That's crap." And I just went,
Fun.
and it was total garbage. I was phoning it in because I didn't care at that point. And when he said that, I literally deleted everything on the page, redesigned it, walked into his room right after a lecture, and threw a printout on his desk and went, "And how about now?" And he goes, "Fix this, this. Go away."
Mhm. Great. Yeah.
That-
Spite is a good motivator. Yeah.
oh yeah, yeah. I mean he was my favorite professor, 100%, absolutely. You get tired of hearing how great it is sometimes. But unfortunately
Yeah.
for you, the book is great. I'm sorry, Jason. I have nothing bad to say.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
So
Yeah,
this
getting
series,
those critiques is important to be able to have confidence in your work as well. Like
Yeah.
you can like it as much as you want, but sometimes you are just too close to it to see a problem. It's very easy to do.
now
Very
you have
easy to skip over something.
four books planned for this series. There's going to be one
Mhm.
more,
Yep, one more
Yeah.
after this. Yep.
and it's going to be another 40 pages about
That one will be a little shorter at 30-ish pages. Yeah.
for now.
Yeah, for now. Yeah.
Yeah, for now.
No more. No more. I already added a bunch of pages.
Now,
No more pages.
do you have any other plans to do other work? I mean,
Yeah, we'll
this
come
going to be
back
the end of
after
the comics?
return.
Yeah. It'll be another 7 years or so, and I'll come back with another another book. Um, no, I have kind of thoughts on what I want to do next. I have some story ideas, and hopes to keep doing this. And some of that is getting the response on Kickstarter, where I can keep that train rolling and keep feeling good about the amount I sell, and some of the income from that. I'm not expecting to pay all my bills forever and ever with the book, but I want to come away with some amount of profit from the whole thing.
Yeah.
Um, where if I sit down to write a new story, I feel good about my ability to get that out in the world and have people enjoy that. And thus far, this book is going great along those lines. And yeah, part of my inspiration for this book and going this direction of kind of writing and drawing my own stuff was to the best option to come out of that would be I could write this book and I can finish it, and then I can write another book and
Oh.
just keep doing that. And I don't have to ask publishers permission, and I don't have to track down leads from writers and rely on asking people to do things. I got very burnt out on the idea of asking people permission to do my art, do my thing. Uh, and that's a lot of creative business, especially at the moment of you got to go find this editor, you got to go talk to these people, and it's a lot of holding your hands together and praying and begging and saying, "Hey, look at my thing, look at my stuff. Can I do a thing?" And they've got a billion people. They're not bad people. They have a lot of uh, artists coming up to them trying that same thing. And I don't begrudge anybody, but it is hard to just keep asking permission to do a thing
Yeah.
when you know you
Especially
can
when
do
you
it.
do something so well, Jason. I mean, Returned is so well done. So
Yeah. And like if I can keep just writing and drawing books on my own and putting them out through Kickstarter, that is super easy, relatively,
It
to
doesn't
like
sound easy.
getting a publisher and getting an editor uh, and then promoting that book. Like even in most publishers, you're still going to do the lion's share of promoting. So I would be doing a lot of the same things that I do now for my own book, where I can bring in all the readers and all the money that I possibly can, and it all comes to me.
and you
Uh,
keep control
I
of
would do the
your
same work for a publisher and hand that money out to 30 different people and me. So my preference would be, hey, just do this book, do another book. That sounds great. And if I keep that rolling, that would be the best outcome from this project.
I think that's the outcome we all want for you. Definitely.
That would be great.
Jason, before we go, where on the World Wide Web can everybody go to hunt down everything about you and Returned?
Yeah, so the best place for the Returned comic is returnedcomic.com. And there you can read the webcomic. On the store right now, you can buy issue 1 and 2. And the Kickstarter for part 3 will start on July 1st, which would be just after this pod goes up. So the Kickstarter pre-release preview page will be up right now as you're listening to this. You can sign up to get notified when part 3 launches. And on the part 3 Kickstarter, you'll be able to order part 1, 2, and 3 in a bundle. There'll be an artist edition of each of the books as well, which is all the black and white ink art. That's all lettered, able to be read, just no color.
Yeah,
Got
that's
a lot of
cool.
comments that people like to see the ink art. So I've been doing a limited edition of each of the issues, just the inks. So there'll be packs of 1, 2, and 3. There'll be packs of the artist editions. There'll be all sorts of configurations to buy the book through that Kickstarter. And then that will also be on the store page of returncomic.com if you're listening to this after July.
Fantastic, man. Jason, I cannot wait. I cannot wait to have issue 3 in my hands. But until then,
Read.
more
Comics.
You can hear our most recent 20 episodes on iTunes. If you would like to hear our older episodes, you can find them on our blog. Just go to bunchofdorks.com and click on the Cyclops.
Joe Dimension can be found on iTunes and Stitcher Radio. If you like what you hear, you can subscribe, rate, leave a review, tell a friend, or like us on Facebook. Thanks for listening.
If you would like to be part of the show, draw a fake comic book cover and we'll use it to promote our new episodes online.
If you'd like to promote your music, send us your MP3 and you can have a musical spotlight on the show. Plus, we'll add you on a link on our music page.
We have t-shirts designed available for you. So you can find them on the sidebar of the blog. Listen to the show, wear the shirt.